B starts right now.
This edition of Eye on the Bay is sponsored by Travel Alberta.
Hello! Tonight, I make a surprisingly quick getaway from the Bay Area. Within a mere few hours, I'm in a whole other world. And greeting me, majestic mountains flanked by crystal blue lakes. A helicopter ready to whisk me away to a secret waterfall. Plus, we'll canoe down one of the most magnificent rivers in North America. We'll also be getting into some hot water. Then, we'll dine on some fantastic cuisine and stay in a waterfront chateau straight out of a fairy tale. Basically, it's a vacation you'll never forget. One question, though. Where are we?
We're your Gotta Get Away for the Day guide. Your Let's Try a New Place to Eat guide. Even your Hey, It Really Happened Here guide. We're the tour guide with you in mind. Eye on the Bay.
Where are we? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Alberta, Canada. I'm Brian Hackney, and for the next 3 nights, we take Eye on the Bay on the road to our neighbor north of Montana to show you some of the most spectacular scenery in North America. The reason we're making this trip is because we kind of want to spotlight some quick getaways out of the Bay Area, and this is one of them. Now, for a lot of people who are coming from San Francisco to Canada, you often think Vancouver or Victoria. But you can get to Calgary in as little time as it takes to fly to Denver. And you can come to a place like this. This is the Rocky Mountains, Canada style. The mountains are bigger, the wildlife closer, and around every turn are some of the most stunning views on Earth. For the next 3 nights, we're taking an adventure through Alberta. We'll start in Canada's biggest and oldest national park, Banff, exploring the rugged beauty by air, land, and water. Then we'll head north to Lake Louise. Besides the crazily colored namesake, there's glaciers, helicopters, and wild rides like this. Finally, we come down from the mountains and wrap up in Calgary, a great city of cuisine, culture, and cowboys. It's colorful, it's Canada, and it's closer than you think. We're going to begin right down there in the most visited national park in all of Canada, Banff National Park. But first, how do you get here? But to do that, we flew out of SFO, landed at Calgary, and met our ace travel guide. This is Corinne. Corinne, thank you for being our ace travel guide.
Thank you. Yeah. Great to have you in Alberta.
First of all, the flight from San Francisco to Calgary, not long, a couple hours?
A couple hours, yeah.
Okay. How long is it going to take us to drive from downtown Calgary to Banff?
About an hour and 15 minutes.
What draws people from all over the world to Banff?
The stunning scenery.
Is that it?
Canadian Rocky Mountains. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Hiking?
Hiking.
Biking?
Biking.
Some canoeing?
Canoeing, for sure.
Hot springs.
The natural hot springs.
There are hot springs out here as well.
Yes.
So a little rock climbing action.
Rock climbing, for sure.
What about skiing?
Skiing in winter is fabulous here.
One of the great attractions of Banff, of course, are the activities. There's lots of things to do, and can you guess what we're going to do next? Alan.
Hello.
Hey, I'm Brian. You look like a tour guide.
Thank you.
Yeah? What are you? You are dressed as...
I am dressed as a traditional voyageur, Brian.
Really? And that means that we're going to go out in a canoe with you.
We're going to go out in one of our big Voyager canoes that we have over here. We'll be spending the afternoon taking the beautiful sights of Banff and learning a little bit of history about the fur trade.
Let's shove off.
Okay, let's go.
Tell me where we're headed. What river are we on? What direction are we heading?
We're currently on the Bow River in Banff National Park, Alberta, Canada. And we're flowing downriver towards the city of Calgary.
Tell me about Banff. What's it, just what's the city like?
Well, I think of Banff more as a town than a city.
Yeah.
But, it's just a weird melting pot of different people from all over the world, both the tourists and the people that live and work here.
What about wildlife?
Oh, wildlife. If you ask 10 people why they come to Banff, probably 9 of them are going to say to see wildlife or to see a bear.
Yeah.
Now, of course, not everyone's going to come and see a bear, but it's a national park. You have abundant wildlife here, and you just have to be in the right place at the right time to see something special. In the river here, we have a few kinds of trout. Yeah. But even garter snakes.
Oh, great.
Maybe muskrat and beaver.
Uh-huh.
Moving on to dry land, you'll often see coyotes on the riverbank.
Yeah.
And further out of town, their bigger brothers, the wolf pack.
Right. Moose?
I've seen moose a few times down here, but they normally come to Banff in the wintertime.
Elk?
Elk, yeah. Banff has almost 100 elk resident to the local area.
This has been a real treat. Alan, thank you so much for taking us out.
Thank you, Brian.
Really appreciate it.
We've got a lot more to do.
But first, a little Banff 101.
Located about 70 miles west of Calgary, Banff National Park is the crown jewel of Alberta.
Banff has 1,000 miles of hiking trails, about 2,500 campsites, and it's got Canada's longest cave system. No wonder in 1885, Banff became Canada's first national park. There's also 1,000 glaciers in this national park and an infinite number of views. Within Banff National Park, there is a town of Banff. There's the downtown. Not a bad backyard, huh? To get some perspective on Banff, let's look at it from an elevation on top of Sulphur Mountain. We're at about 7,400 feet, looking down to Tunnel Mountain, that's just above Banff. There's Lake Minnewanka out in the distance. You can see the Bow River and how it snakes through the city. It's a beautiful perspective, and I grant you it looks like we're a little bit chilly today. But in July, in summertime, Banff, on average, 8 degrees warmer than downtown San Francisco.
And how did this huge patch of wild territory become one of the world's most visited national parks? Early visionaries whistled while they worked.
It was the railroad that settled this part of Canada. And one of the general managers of that railroad, an American, by the way, who saw Banff and said, "This is so spectacular, but we can't export the scenery, so we're going to have to import the tourists." And in 1888, the Canadian Pacific Railway built that, the Banff Springs Hotel, an architectural gem measuring up to the natural gem that is Banff National Park.
And whether you visit in the summertime, as we are, or in the wintertime, there's no end of stuff to do in this wild, woodsy Canadian playground. Up next, we take a gondola for sweeping views of Banff National Park. And then, I get stuck between a rock and a hard place.
You've got me for when I fall, right?
We'll get into hot water, and we'll go golfing late at night. Would you believe you can tee off after dinner? Stay with us.